Have you ever felt like you were sent here for something bigger? Like you're not just different, but chosen? Welcome to Heaven's Chosen, where the rarest souls find the truth they were born to remember. In today's video, you're not just going to watch, you're going to awaken. We're revealing the signs of Omega-level chosen ones, the ones the world can't define, control, or forget. If you've ever felt too intense, too isolated, or too powerful for this world, this message is for you. Stay with me till the end, because what you're about to learn might finally explain everything. Let's begin. They don't speak loudly, but the energy they carry makes others go silent. It's not confidence, it's divine authority. People can feel something different in the room the moment they arrive. Conversations slow down, eyes turn. It's as if the soul recognizes royalty even before the mind does. Their presence alone is a sermon to the subconscious, a warning to the fake, and a call to the awakened. They never beg to be noticed. Instead, attention finds them without effort, not because they chase validation, but because their aura demands reverence. People feel intimidated without knowing why. It's not arrogance, it's spiritual rank. They didn't earn it. They were born with it. That's what makes it impossible to replicate and dangerous to challenge. They carry peace like a weapon. In the middle of chaos, they remain grounded. While others panic, they observe. While others react, they calculate. They are calm not because life is easy, but because they've mastered storms. And when they speak, it's with the weight of someone who has walked through fire and still kept their soul clean. Their eyes see beyond the surface. They don't just look at you. They look into you. They see the masks people wear, the lies they tell, and the wounds they hide. You can't fool them with appearances. Their perception is not from intellect alone. It's spiritual discernment. They were gifted to read energies the way others read words. People either feel deeply safe or deeply exposed around them. There's no middle ground. The pure feel understood. The corrupt feel nervous. That's how you know you've encountered an Omega-level chosen one, someone who doesn't just enter rooms, they shift atmospheres. They never crumbled under pain. They evolved because of it. When others would have given up, they transformed suffering into sacred fuel. Every wound they carry is a reminder of their spiritual DNA. They don't hide their scars. They honor them. Pain didn't destroy them. It revealed who they truly are. They've known betrayal intimately, not once, but many times. By friends, lovers, even family. But instead of becoming bitter, they became better. They forgave without forgetting. They walked away without seeking revenge. They realized some betrayals are necessary to redirect them toward their true path. Loss has been their companion. Jobs, homes, relationships, many things were stripped away. But through it all, they found something the world can't take. Resilience. They learned to live with less and yet feel more. They discovered that sometimes God breaks you to rebuild you without the weight that was never yours to carry. They don't run from darkness. They've faced it, inside and out. They've looked in the mirror and battled their own demons. They've sat in the silence no one wants to sit in. That's why they can hold space for others who are broken. Because they've been there. And they came back with wisdom, not weakness. They have learned that pain is a messenger. Every heartbreak, every disappointment was an initiation, a test of endurance, a purification of purpose. That's why they don't fear suffering anymore. They've walked through hell and now carry heaven in their eyes. They've always known things they were never taught. Long before they read the books or heard the words, something inside them whispered the truth. They've predicted events, sensed people's true intentions, and received insights that left others speechless. It's not intellect. It's ancient memory, a knowing that comes from beyond this lifetime. They don't learn the way others do. Information doesn't just enter their mind. It activates what's already buried in their soul. When they hear truth, it doesn't surprise them. It feels familiar, like remembering something they never knew they forgot. That's because their soul has traveled far, and wisdom walks with them. They often feel misunderstood when they speak. People say, "How do you know that?" Or, "You're just overthinking." But they're not overthinking. They're tapping into realms most people can't access. This spiritual intuition is both a gift and a burden, because knowing too much can isolate you from those who only see what's visible. Their dreams aren't just dreams. Their visions aren't just imagination. They receive signs, warnings, and revelations through images, numbers, and symbols. Some call it strange. Others call it prophetic. But to them, it's normal. Their consciousness is tuned to frequencies the average person can't hear. They don't question their insight anymore. After being proven right so many times, they've learned to trust the voice within. Even when the world mocks them, even when logic disagrees, they listen to that inner truth, because it has never failed them, and it never will. From an early age, they've felt like they didn't belong, not in their home, not in school, not even in society. It's as if they were dropped into the wrong timeline. The conversations around them felt shallow. The goals of others seemed empty. They always questioned, always searched for more. Not out of rebellion, but because the world never felt like home. They often watch others connect with ease, laugh, bond, and celebrate the small things while they stand in the background observing. Not because they don't care, but because their soul longs for depth, for meaning, for something eternal. Their isolation is not a curse. It's protection, separation before activation. They've tried to blend in, smiled when they didn't feel it, agreed just to avoid conflict. But it never worked. The universe won't let them be small. Their energy repels shallow living. And every time they try to fit in, life reminds them. They were born to stand out. The silence they experience isn't empty. It's sacred. It's in that silence that they meet their higher self, that they receive divine downloads, that they heal. Omega-level chosen ones aren't lonely. They're being trained. When everyone leaves, it's because something greater is arriving. Eventually, they stop fighting the isolation. They embrace it. Because solitude reveals their power. It sharpens their voice, and it teaches them, you don't need the crowd when you carry the calling. They don't chase connection. Connection chases them. Without saying a word, they create a safe space. Children, animals, and broken souls naturally gravitate toward them, not because of what they say, but because of what they radiate. Their energy feels like home, like healing, like someone who truly sees beyond the surface. People find themselves confessing secrets they've never shared with anyone. Strangers open up to them within minutes. It's not about trust, it's about resonance. The wounded recognize something ancient in them, a light that doesn't judge, a presence that embraces without condition. They don't have to fix anyone. Just being around them begins the healing process. Their calm is medicine. Their silence is therapy. Their presence alone begins to shift energy, often without them even noticing. It's not something they do, it's who they are. They feel the pain of others deeply. When someone enters the room carrying invisible burdens, they sense it instantly. Empathy is wired into their core. Not just emotional empathy, spiritual empathy. They feel on a soul level what others can't even name. This gift can be exhausting. They absorb so much from those around them that it drains their energy. That's why they need solitude. Not to escape people, but to recover from the weight of everyone else's emotions. Their sensitivity is not weakness. It's sacred. The attacks never stop, not because they are weak, but because they are dangerous to the darkness. They awaken people. They expose lies. They raise the frequency of every space they enter. That's why the shadows come for them. Not because they're doing something wrong, but because they're doing something powerful. They've battled depression, anxiety, confusion, not always from their own life, from invisible warfare. Spiritual attacks often come when they're on the edge of a breakthrough. The closer they get to their purpose, the harder they're hit. It's a cosmic confirmation that they're walking the right path. Relationships fall apart for no clear reason. Friends betray them. Loved ones misunderstand them. These aren't coincidences. They're strategic distractions. Forces seen and unseen try to isolate and discourage them, hoping they'll forget who they are. But they don't. They rise stronger. Their mind is the main battlefield. Thoughts of doubt, fear, and despair often appear out of nowhere. But here's the truth. Not every thought is theirs. Some are planted. Some are weapons. Recognizing this is how they reclaim their power, by refusing to believe everything that enters their head. Despite it all, they never fold. They may bend, but they do not break. Each attack only sharpens their awareness, deepens their resilience, and confirms their calling. They are chosen, not just for light, but for war. And the fact that they're still here proves they've already won many battles others never even saw. They wake up with a weight on their chest, not from anxiety, but from purpose. They feel the pull of a mission they can't yet name. A voice inside whispers, "You were sent for more." But there's no guidebook, no instructions, just a fire in their soul that refuses to go out. It's not confusion. It's divine pressure. Every time they try to live a normal life, the universe disrupts it. Jobs fall apart. Friendships fade. Plans collapse. Not out of failure, but because the path of a chosen one can never be ordinary. They are constantly being redirected toward the extraordinary, even when it hurts. They often feel like they're building a staircase while climbing it. Each step appears only after they take the first. There's no map, just faith. They're forced to trust an invisible plan, to act before they fully understand. And that's where their spiritual power grows, by walking blindly but boldly. People around them don't understand the pressure they carry. While others dream of comfort, they crave meaning. While others settle, they seek. Their restlessness is not dissatisfaction, it's divine urgency. Something inside keeps pushing them to evolve, to rise, to become. They're not waiting to be rescued. They are the rescue. The moment they accept the calling, even without full clarity, life begins to unlock. Resources appear. Synchronicities align. The moment they walk in faith, the universe responds in fire. They don't have to speak to shake people's egos. Just by entering the room, insecurities start bubbling. Their silence threatens the fake. Their confidence exposes the arrogant. People feel uncomfortable, not because they're doing anything wrong, but because they radiate truth. They've noticed how people change around them. Some shrink, others perform. A few try to challenge them. That's the price of carrying spiritual weight. Their very existence holds up a mirror to others, forcing them to confront their own weaknesses, lies, and masks. They've lost relationships simply because they refuse to shrink. Some couldn't handle their intensity. Others couldn't stand their light. But instead of dimming themselves, they've learned to let go. Because being true to who you are will always trigger those who live in illusion. They don't need to expose others. Their energy does it for them. The moment they walk into toxic environments, the masks fall. Secrets surface. Fake smiles fade. Their frequency reveals the truth without trying. And that's why many fear them without understanding them. They've learned to stop apologizing for their presence. They're not here to make people comfortable. They're here to awaken, to shake the foundations, to bring light where darkness hides. And if that triggers others, so be it. A chosen one is not here to please. They are here to shift. Wherever they go, nothing stays the same. Not because they try to change things, but because their very presence demands it. Systems built on lies begin to shake. Relationships built on control collapse. Environments soaked in low frequency start to purge. They carry the energy of disruption and rebirth. They don't follow rules. They rewrite them. Not out of rebellion, but because their spirit doesn't resonate with limitations. When faced with broken traditions or toxic systems, they don't comply. They transform. They bring revolution without shouting. Their quiet refusal is more powerful than a million protests. People in positions of power often feel threatened by them. Not because they're loud, but because they see through the game. The chosen ones don't play for approval. They operate from truth. That's why manipulative leaders, false gurus, and control freaks avoid them. They can't be fooled. Even in relationships, they break cycles. They don't tolerate emotional games, manipulation, or spiritual laziness. Partners who once controlled others find themselves exposed. Family patterns that went unspoken for generations suddenly surface. The chosen one doesn't maintain toxic peace. They bring holy chaos. They are the reset. They were sent not to fit into the old, but to birth the new. When they enter your life, expect things to shift. What's fake will fall. What's real will rise, and what's aligned will remain. They're not destroyers. They are divine renovators. No matter how many times life knocks them down, they get back up. Not the same, but stronger. Each fall is a lesson. Each setback is an upgrade. They don't return as they were. They return sharper, wiser, harder to break. Resurrection is their rhythm. Reinvention is their nature. People have witnessed their collapse and assumed it was the end. But what they didn't see was the rebirth happening in the shadows. While others judged, the chosen one was evolving, growing in silence, training in pain. And when they returned, the world barely recognized them. They use failure as fuel, rejection as redirection, pain as power. Every heartbreak, every betrayal, every storm, it's all woven into their becoming. They never waste a wound. They let it carve them into something more divine, more dangerous, more undeniable. Others fear falling because they don't know how to rise. But the chosen one isn't afraid of hitting rock bottom. They've built castles there. They know how to rebuild with nothing. They know how to shine in the dark. They don't just recover. They resurrect. By the time the world catches up, they've already evolved again. You can't define them by their past because they've outgrown it. Again and again. That's the secret of the Omega-level chosen one. They are not who they were. They are who they became, through fire. So now you know, Omega-level chosen ones don't shine because life was easy. They shine because they were forged in fire, built in silence, and reborn from ashes the world never even saw. If you've felt every word of this video like it was written from your soul to your soul, then maybe, just maybe, you're not watching this by accident. Maybe you're remembering who you really are. And maybe you are heaven's chosen. I want to hear from you. Which part spoke the loudest to your spirit? Which sign confirmed what you've always known in your heart? Drop a comment below and let me feel your presence. If you made it all the way here, type Heaven's Chosen in the comments so I know you're one of us. Let's find each other. Let's awaken together. And don't forget to like this video if your soul resonated with this message, and share it with someone else who needs to hear it today. Your light is rare. Never let the world dim it.